Hey everybody, welcome to Improv FAQ. I'm James Quesada, and this episode is part of a sidebar series of shorter videos that are going to touch on commonly used rules in improv. And there's some rules out there in different training programs and books and blogs and whatnot that come up often enough in classes and workshops. I thought it would be a good idea to touch on them and give my input and insights on them. In this episode, we're going to talk about the rule of don't ask questions. So the reason the rule of not asking questions exists in the first place is because a lot of the time when improvisers, especially beginning improvisers, ask questions, they're doing that in place of making a choice. Maybe they're afraid to make the wrong choice, or they just aren't comfortable enough to be making those active choices for the scene. The other thing is that asking questions in a scene puts a lot of the responsibility of the building in a scene onto your scene partner, and we want it to be an equal contribution between you and the other people in the scene to build the world brick by brick. So the reason that not asking questions can be really helpful is that it's going to get you in the mindset of making choices and being an active contributor to the scene, especially in the very beginning as it starts to take shape. The other thing you have to think about with questions is that a question doesn't have any truth value. It's neither true or false, and I learned that in college. So if you ask a question in an improv scene, it doesn't really establish anything. We haven't learned anything that we can use until we either answer the question or whatever. So it's better to actually make a statement, and maybe a more positive, actionable substitute for the rule of don't ask questions is use statements. That way, we have a statement that is either true or false, and since it's improv, and if we're doing the yes and good job of improv, then we're going to treat it as true, and it's much more useful than questions. So the next time you have a question in your head during an improv scene, answer that question for yourself in your head, and then give that answer to the scene as a statement. The truth about questions is that real people ask questions all the time, and your characters in an improv scene should also be able to ask questions. I mean, we write questions into scripts for movies and TV and sketch, and they can be really helpful just as much as statements to further a story or for character development. Even though questions can be loaded with emotion and imply information, advanced improvisers are going to be able to pick up on that and make use of it, but it doesn't make it any less helpful to practice avoiding questions and instead make statements. Say things that are true. Okay, so that's it for this episode on asking questions. And until next time, go out there and be the question that you have answers to.